A nest is noisy. A nest is noisy. A nest is noisy. It is a nursery of chirping, buzzing, squeaking, peeping, bubbling babies. A nest is welcoming. Many birds assemble a crate for their eggs, knitting together leaves and twigs and softening it with grass, hair, moss, fluffy seeds, leaf skeletons, or even a snake's old skin. They might also add candy wrappers, plastic bags, and bits of cloth or paper. Birds are not the only animals that make nests. Orangutans climb high into the rainforest canopy, where each day they braid a new bed of strong branches and line it with a mattress of leaves and twigs. On rainy nights, a woven umbrella of leaves keeps them dry. A nest is enormous or tiny. One of the largest birds' nests is the dusky scrap fowls. Their mounded nests are made of decomposing leaves and twigs and can measure more than 36 feet, or 11 meters in diameter, and nearly 16 feet, or 5 meters high. The smallest bird's nest, the bee hummingbirds, is a golf ball-sized cup of moss, lichen bark, and leaves, usually wrapped in spider silk. The stretchy silk lets the nest expand as the babies grow larger. A nest is spiky, pebbly, papery. Elf owls and cactus wrens select a prickly nesting place as a refuge from slithering snakes and other hungry hunters. Eel-like lampreys use their suction cup mouth to move stones the size of peas, walnuts, and even baseballs to create depressions called redds in shallow stream beds. They lay their eggs in the redds and cover them with more pebbles to hide them. Hornets, yellow jackets, and paper wasps scrape fibers from weathered wood and chew it until it is a moist paste that dries into a tough, paper-like material. The bold-faced hornet queen makes a cell for each egg. Or even bubbly. African gray tree frogs make a foamy nest for their eggs in branches overhanging water. With their hind legs, the female churns a substance secreted from her body into a frothy mass that, in sunlight, hardens into a meringue-like crust. A few days after the tadpoles hatch, the nest disintegrates, and the tadpoles drop into the water where they can feed and develop into frogs. Gourami blows bubbles that pack together to form a nest that floats like a raft in still water. Under the bubble nest, the male and female spawn produce eggs. Once the female has released her eggs, she swims away while the male carries the eggs in his mouth and places them in the nest. After they hatch, the baby fish or fry swim beneath the gooey nests where they're guarded by the male until they're ready to strike out on their own. A nest is hot. Some South American oven birds forge an adobe oven made with thousands of mud and clay pellets. Baked in the sun, the nest is a cozy place for their eggs. An alligator piles decaying plants and mud to create a mat. In the center, she digs a hole where she lays her eggs and then, with her forelimbs and jaws, covers the nest with more vegetation to keep them warm until they hatch as squeaking babies. The temperature of the nest determines the sex of alligators. A nest is hidden. In spring and summer, tens of thousands of female Camp Ridley sea turtles ride the waves together onto Gulf Coast beaches and drag themselves up to the dunes. They use their hind flippers like shovels to dig a pit in the sand. After the turtle deposits her round, leathery legs, she tamps down the sand with her underside of her shell and flings more sand over the nest to hide any signs of it. The platypus, one of only 2 mammals to lay eggs, hollows out tunnels or burrows along stream beds. With her tail, the female carries moist plant matter deep into the tunnel to make a nest and lays a soft shell eggs the size of marbles. She adds plugs of soil in the tunnel to protect the eggs from rising waters, predators, and changing temperatures. A nest is neighborly. There is safety in numbers. Some nest builders live in colonies where there are many more ears and eyes to raise an alarm when predators, that is, animals that eat other animals, are near. Bio-weavers build nests that hang from thorny trees or palm fronds like upside-down bottles. Swinging in the air from the woven tube, each nest is protected from lizards, snakes, and bigger birds. In towns of hundreds of inhabitants, black-tailed prairie dogs make grass-lined nesting chambers within the labyrinth of burrows. When a predator is spotted, the prairie dogs bark to warn their neighbors that danger is near. Army ants make living nests called bivouacs. Clinging to one another's leg and jaws, or mandibles, they form a writhing ball of millions of ants suspended from a branch by a chain of more ants. Inside are chambers for the queen, a brood of eggs, newly hatched larvae, and food. A nest is peculiar. Cave swiftlets concoct a nest made entirely of saliva. Swinging its head from side to side, a male spits long, pearly strands onto the wall of a cave that hardens into a lacy ball when exposed to air. Birds' nest soup made from swiftlets' nests is among the most expensive foods eaten by humans. A nest is muddy. Flamingos erect a heap of mud, grass, and stones up to 12 inches or 13.5 centimeters tall, and then lay a single egg in a depression at the top. The height protects the egg from changing water levels and excessive ground heat. Both parents feed their hatchlings crop milk from their digestive tracts until they leave the nest. A nest is adapted. Some creatures choose nests made by others to brood their offsprings. Cowbirds and common cuckoos lay their eggs in nests of other birds, where they're hatched and raised by the mother of a different species. The buff-breasted paradise kingfisher flies like a torpedo at a termite nest, smashing into the hard mound with its beak, and sometimes dying on impact to blast a hole into the side. Inside the mound, they peck out a tunnel leading to a chamber, where they lay their eggs. Termites seal off the tunnel from the inside so that their nests are separate. A nest is noisy, buzzing, swishing, rustling, flapping, and humming with babies, but only until they're ready to fly, swim, or crawl away. Then a nest is quiet.